I wouldn't.
I could ask Judge Napolitano for an opinion, but he's...
You want my opinion on that? Are they still around, AOL?
Oh, thank you very much.
That is the perfect answer.
It says it all right there. I'm going to give you a weather report with a British accent. Frigid temperatures and snowfall across the northern half of the country today. Arctic air gripping a third of the nation. Dangerous roads, airline delays expected to last the rest of the week. It's not funny. It really is cold. 20 below and more in and around the Great Lakes. Chicago, 10 below. I call that frigid, would you not? Jeff Flock's going to join us in the next hour. He's braving the cold in Chicago. He's going to show us just how cold it is. Then we have Os Guinness. That's his name, Os Guinness. He's a British author. He's been living in the States for 30 years. Good man. Says America is adrift on the brink of losing freedoms. Listen to this.
America's adrift, and my deepest sorrow is this country squandering its great heritage. Free speech is really under threat, and even more importantly, freedom of conscience is under threat.
I think the man's right. By the way, I've got another example of how we are actually giving up our personal freedoms, the freedom to live the way we want to live. Listen to this. There's a growing list of cities, Dubuque, Iowa is the latest, which are banning sledding. There are safety concerns, of course, and therefore fear of lawsuits. That means liability, and the lawyers are sticking it to us one more time. Judge Andrew Napolitano is... I don't know why you're laughing.
Well, I'm laughing because you know I agree with you on this. You're going to try and get me to defend it.
You do not agree with me on this.
No, this is a system of government, the judiciary, that permits liability for almost any type of behavior that the lawyers can persuade the judges is worthy of liability. If the people want this system, we will have it. If the people rise up and say, let my kids sled down that hill, we're not going to sue if something happens to them, then we'll have that kind of system of government. So the people eventually get the system of government they want.
Venal lawyers will...
Why do you repeat yourself?
Double positive. Double negative.
Venal lawyers smell an opportunity.
Yes.
Anybody gets hurt in the slightest way for any reason whatsoever, and somebody with deep pockets will be held responsible and will have to pay. And will pay the lawyer 30% of what the take is plus expenses.
I agree with you.
It's a lousy system,
I agree
Judge.
with you. The response to that is legislation that says there shall be no cause of action as a consequence of a child taking a sled down a hill.
And how do you do that when almost every single member of Congress is a former lawyer or who is going to become a lawyer when they leave Congress?
It be done by Congress. Then you got constitutional issues, but it certainly can be done by our home state, the legislature of the state of New Jersey, or it certainly could
It's the same story. The legislatures are dominated by lawyers. It's always the same. They're lawyers.
Not all lawyers are plaintiffs' lawyers. You're certainly talking to one who was not. Not all lawyers are in favor of this type of cause of action for every conceivable infringement in society. Some have a sounder view of the... I can't even say this with a straight face anymore.
You can't. You see, I think America has been fundamentally changed by lawyers, not changed for the better.
Let's see.
Maybe
James Madison was a lawyer. Thomas Jefferson was a lawyer. The revolution against the motherland was led by lawyers.
Do you regard England as your motherland?
It was at the time.
It was at the time. What about the English rule? Loser pays. What were wrong with that?
You know, the English rule is rising and gaining more favor in the United States. Let me tell you how it came about. It came about by judges, not by legislatures. Judges fed up with frivolous lawsuits. Judges who have the authority to write rules. The Supreme Court of New Jersey writes the rules for the court. And it enacted the English rule. Very rigid circumstances under which it can be used, but those circumstances keep getting expanded, and frivolous lawsuits keep getting smacked down.
Is it true?
The English rule, again, so people know what we're talking about, is...
Yeah, loser pays.
Correct.
I file a lawsuit against you, I sue you.
You've been looking to file a lawsuit against me.
I'm desperate. Yeah. I lose, and therefore
you have
I
to pay
my
legal bill that was necessary for me to defend against your frivolity.
Could we have that as a legislated law from Congress? Could that be done?
No, Congress couldn't do it, but the 50 state legislatures could. There is a federal analog to this. The Federal Rule 11 permits federal judges to sanction frivolous pleadings. Doesn't even have to be the ultimate outcome of the case. You filed a motion that was ridiculous. You're going to pay the legal fee for your adversary to resist that motion, even though the case proceeds.
The only reason I'm smiling is because essentially you agree with me.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Your time's up.
I think we made our point. Now, what about that British author? How smart is he to be living in the United States for the past 30 years?
He's a good man, I'm telling you.
Well, he's certainly not a graduate of the London School of Socialist Economics.
Socialist economics? You happen to be right yet again. I think he went either Oxford or Cambridge.
He's an Oxford guy, yes.
Oxford?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
He's made some brilliant statements. They're very telling, and they're disturbing to the political class here.
He was absolutely right.
Yes.
Thanks, Judge.
They're yelling at us in our ear.
Well, they are.